Hey, what's up? This is 36 Drew coming to you, N3O Clan, representing. What we have here is a first-person video on demand. The matchup is British, which I will be playing, and of course the game will be from my perspective. I'll post the recorded game also after. It is British versus Spanish on Great Plains. Kind of an old school Nilla matchup as far as I understand it. I'll try to, as this VOD goes on, I'll try to explain some builds and whatnot. I tried to play this game as I think it is supposed to be played, with the proper builds, and I did a lot of things that went well early on in the game. The in-game audio, as you can hear, is also included. There's a couple requests for that in previous VODs, so hopefully it doesn't conflict too much with the commentary. And as you can see here early on, my hotkeys: Control 1 for my Explorer, Control 6 for my Town Center, and that's it. And of course I've individually microed settlers to each of the food crates. The remaining two go through the town center with town center transport to try and bring in a herd. You'll notice one of the things I did right off the bat is I looked to see what the two treasures that were in my line of sight were. I noticed one was covered by a guardian and one wasn't. Obviously I'm going to go for the one that's covered by the guardian first, so that way when I use my crack shot on it, it's likely going to be recharged by the time I come across another treasure with a guardian. And what I'm doing with my Explorer right now at the back of my base is looking for my second hunt. When I happen to come across a tomahawk, which is a very nice treasure, I pretty much would just consider him a scout treasure. Just not with quite as much line of sight or speed or stealth, but early game, that's what I'm going to want. He's Spanish. When I check out his deck, I notice he doesn't have archaic infantry in there, so I'm thinking he will probably FF. So I'm going to use the tomahawk to try and scout his resource spots, namely the 2 gold mines that'll be on his at his town center, as well as any near hunts and whatnot. The trees, of course, you know, you don't really scout for trees. Still nice to know their location as well. Also nice to know where the trade posts are for walking paths, etc., etc. So this scout will be Control 2. And hopefully in this British VOD it will be a little bit neat. I know there's a lot of players in the clan who love to play British. Kaiser von Nubben, Strokey Blofeld, to name a few, but they're just an overall popular civ. You know, people just love to boom, and booming is fun. And here I go to check out his deck. I noticed 2 particular things about it. One is that he has Highlanders, another is that of course he doesn't have the archaic infantry, and another is he does have Lancer bonus versus infantry and a bunch of cavalry cards. Now the nice thing about having gained this early scout card is that I don't have to use my Explorer to do some scouting right now, which can sometimes take away from treasure gathering. I like to pick up what's small on the map, but here I am with a situation where I'm only a little bit into Colonial, or I mean in Discovery. Haven't even hit the age up button yet, and I've got 1 guardian killed off the 320 XP treasure, which is basically going to be an extra shipment queued up in Colonial, which is real nice. You notice here I see one of his gold mines, and I'm like, sweet, and then I'm going to go and try and find the other one, because there should be 2. One of the things I also do in this build right here is my town center goes idle for about 10 or 12 seconds. That is intentional. I believe it takes about 30 seconds to train a villager for British and most standard builds. However, I'm going to have the resources before, and I would rather be aged up at, let's say, 410 than 430. If you do the standard 17 vil age up with Brits, you'll always be up at 430 regardless of how good you micro your crates at the beginning. If you micro them perfect, you're 430. You also notice I aged up with the tower and the gold. I'm going to be going for a musket spam right off the bat, and I have no interest in... well, I have interest in using the tower for a little bit of map control, and I have interest in using the gold for muskets. The great thing about muskets in this situation, they're your best friend versus Spain. Always, always, always. The only kind of exception is an archaic rush, but I'm pretty sure he's not doing that. So the reason is, once he ages, if he decides he wants to go for lancers, muskets are okay versus lancers. I know lancers have a big bonus, but still, they're better than pikes, which are your other option from the barracks. Also, they're good versus rodeleros, which of course can be a real pain in the butt. So anyway, let's talk more about build and resources right now. So during the transition, I've collected enough wood to build one house and a market, and I also get the wood chopping upgrade. I kind of did my math wrong there. I should have just had enough to do hunting dogs, but whatever. It's not that huge of a deal with your market upgrades right away. After I have the wood for the house, the market, and the barracks, I stop villagers off wood altogether. I put 3 on gold and the rest on food. And whenever I musket spam as Brit, that's always, always, always the case for the start. My first card is 700 wood. With that, you build as many houses as you can while still having enough left over for a stables. You'll notice one thing about my tomahawk, who is kind of sitting there hanging out. I discovered that he aged up with the tower and 200 gold politician, which of course is another sign he's going to FF. My second card here is 6 musket. Another thing about the tower is you can then send your muskets to the forward base rather than have them walk all the way from your town center. And you know, you can age with the 500 food politician, but the thing is, you just don't need it for a constant infantry spam early, so use that tower and that gold. I mean, shit, might as well, eh? One thing I actually have here going on, which I shouldn't have, is my explorer idle. Even if he's just walking around the edge of the map, like, that's good. Like, he should do that. Next card is 5 vills, just again to get that eco going, because I know he's Spain, and Spain, yeah, they're gonna ship a lot of military and do stuff, but they're not exactly known for their eco. And they certainly, if a Brit gets an advantage, it's gonna be nice because he can keep up, or just because you can out boom him so nicely. Notice I'm going in here, I'm trying to harass him, just keep him off the crates. He's got gold and food crates, or pardon me, gold and wood crates sitting there, which is the total standard thing for a Spanish player to do. In Colonial Fast Fortressing, you ship 700 gold, then 700 wood, and of course you use the gold to age up, and you use the wood to get your barracks and some houses up. Sometimes you'll get stables up and whatnot. I didn't like going around that way, so I'm going to try coming around the other side here. You notice when I went to use the just the right click to attack there, there were 3 villagers. I attacked the one that was furthest from the TC, because I figured by the time the attacking animation happened, if I shot the one that was closest to the TC, that wouldn't work. He would be in the town center and I wouldn't get any bills. And you notice I just set my explorer to scout the whole edge around the map. Again, just looking for resource pockets. I see the Spanish explorer sitting there with some more dogs. At this point, I just decide, like, you know what, he's not age 3 yet. I've been on him pretty good, I've slowed him down just a bit. Oh, there he goes, age 3. But I'm kind of like, whatever, I can get that barracks down before he can train any units out of it. He might be able to get a batch of skirms out of it if he so chooses, but no worries. Meanwhile, I have some cav going around back to raid. Next card is 600 wood, just to contribute to the boom effect here. I kind of will mismicro my hussars in a bit here. I let them get in too close a contact with the pikes. You'll see it. I'm just not looking at them for long enough right there. Oh, maybe it's not here, but it's coming up in a second, right around here somewhere. Another mistake I make right here is that 600 wood shipment is going to my tower. See, there's the mistake right there. Should be going to my town center. That's one thing I actually have to learn, is that military waypoint business and all that. And of course, you gotta love it when you shoot your bison and they run the exact opposite way. And you know, I'm just trying to keep pressure on him, get some bills, get some bills. And you can see that wood shipment just sitting there, like I'm doing nothing with it. Like, that's just not a good, like, it's just dumb. I could collect it, have like build 3 houses out of it, get 4 bills, and just contribute to the boom effect, but just bad move. Also notice that my explorer has idled a little bit, but that part of the map isn't so critical to know just yet. Again, I see some bills here. And I notice a weird army. It's like pikes and war dogs and like a couple skirms or something. It's kind of hard to tell exactly what it was. All I know is I want that group of guys to get out of there. But as you can see here, one of the things that I think that a lot of players make or a lot of lower players have as difficulty is not applying enough pressure, and this is a good situation to apply pressure in. You'll notice on the other side of the screen I saw Highlanders. I got out of there because my muskets will lose to them. You'll notice I got some villagers. I did use the attack move on the villagers there to attempt to box them in. And it worked well. I think I got 3. Next shipment is 4 villagers. So, you know, again, I started with 3 villagers, then 700 wood, 6 muskets, 600 wood, 5 and 4 villagers. And I'm looking at this situation going, whoa, he's got a 2 falcon shipment, a lot of Highlanders, enough anti-cav that I don't think I'm going to be able to get in there with my cav. So I'm just going to go and raid and hopefully not lose my muskets. Again, I use the attack move there. Managed to box in a bill before I get my cav out of there. I go and look at the FB there to realize my wood shipment as well as my 4 villager shipments sitting there. Bad move. Also, my town center is idle at the moment. Should not be idle. However, I am raiding to some effect, which is useful. And Brits can have some disposable villagers. You just can't lose too many. Not compared to other civs where like Otto has like 0 disposable villagers. So anyway, I'm trying to get these villagers just back from the main fight. I know at the front I've got like a tower, a barracks, a stables, a house. It's going to take them a while for those 2 cannons to really do damage there. Enough time, and I think it's going to buy me enough time to get more barracks and stables up at my base. And honestly, one of the hardest decisions I have playing, and I almost always make the wrong call, is like patience. Like, it's tough to be patient when you're like sitting watching the front of your base get destroyed by a single 2 falcon shipment. Like, you just want to scream and cry. Especially when he's Spain. Spain has rods and pikes and Highlanders and dragoons and every kind of anti-cav, muskets. You know, like they have it all for anti-cav. So I'm just like thinking, Jesus, and I'm age 2. I think about building a church here and making some spies, and then I'm thinking, well, I wish it was the last patch when spies had double the attack and different multipliers than what they have now. However, here I have my cav split into 2 groups. You might be able to see it on the screen. Control 1 and Control 2. Normally I use Control 1 for infantry, but instead I have 2 cav groups here. And I'm hoping that one can raid and one can maybe pinch those cannons from the back. And I'm kind of watching the mini-map at this point to see what he's doing. Again, you know, I'm just kind of stopping him from herding hunts there. Just all these little things I'm hoping that will add up. Meanwhile, I am training some hussars of my own. And then I start to see the massive amount of blue on the mini-map, and I'm like, Better get those vills out of there. And I also pop I try to always just put 10 vills in my TC if I can, unless I'm under a lot of pressure. And I notice those are vulnerable, and I split my cav into 4 and 4. So you might have to rewind it to watch that again, but it proves to be super effective because I end up getting both. If there's a micro move of the game I'm proud of, that's it. Now the rest of this battle here is kind of interesting. It's just a mismatch of units going bonkers and everywhere. I start by sending land grab there, then I'm like, what the hell am I doing? I'm under pressure. I need to send 6 longbows, you know, because who knows what else is behind this battle. I also call Minutemen because the nice thing about 6 Minutemen is one hit killing a pike, and there's definitely a number of pikes in that group. Another Vil dead. If I were playing Holly right now, Lazy would be saying, Holly, Holly, Holly. So young, so much to learn. And I'm actually kind of concerned at this point in the game. He's got a decent mass of units there, and you know, he has quite a bit higher rank than me, and my micro isn't all that good. It's good enough, but it's you know, it could be better. So I do have Town Center Fire of 90 attack, which is nice. There's an odd... what am I catching here? I can't remember. Doesn't matter because there's pikes coming. Can't remember if I was trying to catch Highlanders. Oh, and then I decide to cancel land grab again. Just, you know, the pressure is on and it's just not an ideal time. Land grab as Brits is a card I would have in all decks. Single player and multiplayer. The only time when it might be debatable is in a heavy C deck. But even then, I mean, I don't know, hard to say. It's so good if you get, you know, late game and you get, even if you only get like 3 mills and 2 plantations up, that ends up saving you like 1600 wood, which, you know, in villager seconds is the same as like 2k food. So I mean, it's, you know, it's got potential. And a lot of times I find I have trouble during that transition. You know, like Jesus, if I don't have map control and I need to switch to plantations and all that, or mills, like the wood you need to do that is huge, and the fact that you're investing resources to get resources that gather slower, because of course mills and plantations gather slower than mines and hunts. You know, it's just unfathomable. So I checked the market there for upgrades for hunts, and then I'm like, I'm not really going to be on hunts that much more right now, so not going to be worth 125 gold, 125 food. My Explorer's still sitting idle there. Not thrilled about that, having watched this replay. Because like right now there's enough idle time that I could be giving him commands and whatnot. It's not like there's super imperative battles going on. He's taking down a house. He can gladly take down my house any day of the week. I will let him. My guess is that he doesn't like the line of sight that house is giving. Because it's pretty unusual for guys that are ranked 37 to take down Brit houses. In most, I mean, that's kind of a blanket statement, but... Again, I'm just creeping back here looking at the uncharted terrain. I actually decided to send my Explorer through, and that's bad. I should have had like just a little wall piece or something back there, because I got a lot of vills back there. And, you know, I'm just getting another vill there. Just hoping that all these little small vill kills add up. However, at this point I'm like, geez, I'm losing vills too. And then I noticed that there's like 8 or something going into a tower, and I'm like, Hussar Siege Tower? Send other control group of cavalry, which is only 3, but send it over. Turtle at town center? I'm not sure what he'll do. Meanwhile, I send my other 3 cavalry over, and I come across 5 tasty skirmishers. Full of protein, essential fatty acids, vitamins, minerals, all the omega-3 and stuff a body needs. So I get 1. And you notice I try to flank my cav around. 2, 3, 4. Not only did I get 4 vills there, which is probably going to hurt his eco a bit at this point, I've kept those other vills off the resources for that point in time, and they are probably off the resources again. I do the patented send 1 cav back there, so the group isn't slowed down. But I've kept those other vills off resources to, you know, during that time. So just a loss of villager seconds for, you know, I lost like 2 cav out of that, so pretty cost effective. I was happy about that. I'm not sure who has an advantage in this matchup nowadays. Such an irregular matchup. I mean, Spain has a civ usage of like 4%, Brits are like 10%. Both of them have winning percentages that are about 45 or 44, so they're comparable like that, but I don't know if there's enough data on there to really conclude anything. I know the Lancer FF always seemed to be good when I used to play a little bit of Spain, just because you know, they have the 3 times versus infantry, and that goes versus muskets, longbows, pikes. So I don't know, it was something to think about. And I see some cav coming in this side, and I'm like, whoa. I'm trying to get away from ringing the town bell, because I know that ringing the town bell causes me troubles. I try to get those skirms from behind and flanking with my cav. I'm not doing a very good job right there. In fact, I look away, which is stupid. I didn't even notice that there's like 4 pikes or 5 pikes in that group that are causing my cav a lot of grief. And meanwhile, he's doing pretty good with his Lancers and keeping them on the units they need to be in. He doesn't have them on my cav, he has them on my infantry. So I'm kind of going, another thing right now is I have a mismatch of resources. I don't have much in food, I don't have much in wood, but I've got like 2k gold. If you can, and here comes land grab. I swear I think I play it this time. I don't know how many times I play it and cancel it. I look at the saloon, I'm almost in age 3. This has been a long fight of fighting me versus age 2 versus him versus age 3. And I get that little wall segment up there. And I look at the saloon and I think, there's Barbary Corsairs, or whatever they're called, and Manchu. Both of which are actually not bad in this matchup. And I have about 2k disposable gold, so I'm thinking, why not go for it? And if I age up with the 7 longbow politician, that's generally the one that I go for. And lo and behold, I think I did let that land grab shipment arrive there. I had a lot of things going on in my mind this game. I also sent 2 groups of villagers to a mill right there. Yay. Nothing like 20 villagers gathering on a mill. Look at that! You already have 10 villagers on the mill. You already have 10 villagers on the mill. I know, I know, I know. Meanwhile, he just kind of aimlessly, I'm guessing, lost like a 6 rod shipment there, or was making rods from his barracks and didn't know what to do. And I'm queuing up some Corsairs. I cancelled my 8 villager shipment there in favor of 2 cannons. I'm thinking he probably won't have culverins. Spain, after the 2 cannon shipment, doesn't always go for the foundation, but sometimes they do. And here, this is one of those situations. If you can ever get a player where they like pinch, I call it pinching their army, and you know, you get them cornered. I'm trying to right here. I can't quite do it, but I just love it, and it can often turn a game. Usually it happens against me. Like right here, I almost lost that 2 Falcon shipment. My Corsairs and muskets and longbows were too close to it. However, when the shots get off, it's like excellent. Meanwhile, I think at this time he's trying to raid me. Rodeleros with 10 attack have a lot, and like 7 speed or whatever, are quick, but you know, they're not as nice. It's not the same as raiding with cavalry, if you ask me. Hopefully someone's learning something about Brits here. I'm actually very happy that this is working right now, and for some reason my volume just got a whole lot louder. Oh, weird. Maybe I just accidentally turned it up on my headset. So yeah, and once I'm in age 3 here, you have a decision to make here. Are you going to push militarily, or are you going to sit back and boom? And it's a tough decision to make. I'm going to opt to sit back, or not to sit back, but I'm going to opt to keep on the little mini skirmishes and mini fights going on here. Like this whole game, like there hasn't really been much time of like armies sitting idle at bases, you know, with people thinking about things. You notice I checked that hunt that's right there, thinking if he's got even 3 or 4 or 5 vills there, that if I can pinch those, that's nice. His barracks right here, I'd like to kill it. I also have some dragoons at my base, because of course those lancers I don't like. And that was kind of a weird decision. I never really consciously thought of that in the game. I was just like, oh yeah, I got resources, let's make dragoons. Which ends up probably not being too bad of a decision. And I'm going to keep those sitting right on my falcons. If a bunch of cavalry or rods come in or something, I don't know that they'll necessarily dispel. They could dispel it, but maybe not. It depends what they're doing. And you notice here, I'm just trying to house them. Actually, from my artillery foundation, I'm trying to remember if I started training them yet. You'll see. You'll see if they come. And I notice, ooh, yay, Ville's on a gold mine there. He must be under pressure for resources, especially gold. And I get another. To be completely honest about housing him right here, I'm not sure if it's the right call to make, because it gives him time to react. So I got my goons and pikes and muskets on his lancers here. But he's kind of got just a little bit more of a mass than me. Or not my goons and my pikes, my goons and my goons and those corsairs, barbary corsairs or whatever. Anyway, I lose my 2 cannon shipments, so there's no sense in hanging around there. I paid a ransom to my explorer there just to scout that left side of the map, because I want to look for villager pockets and all those lovely things. Here we are at the 25-minute mark of the game, and I'm researching placer mines. And don't hesitate to if it's that late and you just have your market up. I mean, I've got like 17 vills going to that mine, or 18. I think 18 is the max you can put on a mine. Not sure why they have maximums, but they do. And that's like an instant extra, like 1.5 vills gathering gold. So I mean, easy money, easy resources. Taking advantage of land grab there with cheap like mills for like 150 food. I have two culverins training here that after I saw that those 2 falcons he had, which he had to train because he lost the 2 falcon shipment, and I'm just like, oh baby, these calves are gonna pop out at a perfect time. I zoom in to try to individually micro them, one on one or the other. I accidentally both clicked them on the same one, but that's okay because my culverins will own those. I did look away, but that's not a problem because I had no question in my mind that those calves were going to die. I see it as town center there that he's gathering what looked to be 1,000 wood shipment. And here I go to start training some petards. I'm thinking about I'm gonna send a longbow right there because, to be honest, I have no idea how many hit points a fort has, and I'm like, how many petards do I need to kill it? And in my head I'm thinking that it's 6, and then that's why the Dutch have the 6 petard shipment, and I can almost remember it taking it out. Also put up a tower there for some protection, thinking I'm vulnerable. I walk in and I lose the longbow without seeing the hit points, and I'm like, ah, crap. So anyway, my thought is then, well, I've got 5. I don't know if 5 will kill it. 5 will be close to killing it. But the one thing is about 5 is I've also got some artillery and some other military behind it, so I'm just gonna, or I'm gonna add some artillery that's training right behind it to it, and it'll almost be dead, and the cannons will just kind of boomba the rest. That's the idea. And then I'm also thinking about next, I wonder if he has more than one town center, because I could very well cause some damage down low. And I hate it when you just have like one inch of real space, not game space, from the edge of the map, and you can't get at it. I also decided to send 8 vills, and as you can see, I'm definitely sticking with my thought of pushing militarily. I'm not going for a second or third town center at this point, and it's 30 minutes into the game. You know, I'm sticking by my guns of going military here, not booming. I think booming actually may have worked okay. It may have worked well. I don't know, it depends on some things, but there, now I have line of sight there. I can start to get a wall off there. I want to wall off all that wood to have safe places for future resource pads. There I click on his fort and I see, 8,500 HP, and I do the math, 1,600 siege times 8,500. Doesn't do that, that takes down 8,000. But of course the 2 shots from the falconets save the day. You know, I also noticed that I grabbed 2 trading posts. There's a lot of age 3 shipments here that are nice for British musket HP attack, longbow range, and I can't remember for boost hit points or attack. Boost something though. Or maybe just is range and then enables the guard and imperial upgrades. Oh, and actually one thing I did right there, if you notice the lag in the game, I have a fairly big score advantage at this point, and I'm always leery of drop trickers, so I did take a screenshot of the score at that point in time. It's also fun for bragging purposes, but the complete full purpose of that is for strictly purposes of drop tricking. I've been drop tricked 3 times in the last 2 weeks, and I've just been pissed off about it. I'm trying to stay in close with my artillery there. I notice he's got a contingent of Rodeleros my base. I happen to have some pikes there. I know pikes don't really do anything against rods, and rods don't do much against pikes. It's just kind of one of those buy time decisions. And I realize there's quite a bit of more blue in this wave. And I have no more age 3 military shipments either. My 5 hussars, my 2 cannons are gone. And I'm like, I also got some bills there. They need to get in the town center. Not ringing the bell. There's those guys chopping wood straight east of the town center. Don't want... Hey, look at that. I didn't play land grab. I could have sworn I did. Weird. I wonder how many mistakes I'll make in just commentating this VOD. So right here, I'm sending those petards down to get the town center. It's already damaged. I'm kind of looking at it going uh-oh, I hope my town center doesn't get sieged. I've got 34, I think I have, it's either 34 or 36 vills in it. And I'm going, uh-oh. He doesn't have a lot of siege, but he's going for the stables first. And I'm like, whew, buy me a little bit of time. Plus, I've almost got this whole segment here walled off. So I can... Losing a town center isn't as critical as some players think in some situations. Especially in team games. You can lose a town center. If you get your vills out, I mean, it's not that bad. You can keep going. Start to make some Manchu here. He's got a bunch of Lancers, and again, I've got a little bit of disposable gold somehow. Which is weird, I don't have that many gold mines and everything, but take my Explorer to start to make a second town center down there. And right here, I'm looking at this going oh man, I'm I've got that wall segmented off. I accidentally walked just a little bit in the wrong direction for a second. I'm like, please do not siege that wall before I get there and escape. He's like, I want to pinch that little Spanish army of Rodeleros and Lancers like you have no idea. And I'm looking at it and I'm thinking man, if I can catch him, my army is just gonna murder his. And like in this situation here, like the only thing I actually really micro right here is my cannons, to put them on rods, because the cannons do very good versus heavy infantry. And of course I try to shoot the lancers when they try to run behind, but like I just know that it almost doesn't matter what he does, my army's going to overpower him, and that is GG. And I'm going, yay, 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 yay. I'm like, I wonder if that's going to be enough to bring my PR back from Major to Lieutenant Colonel. And it was, so I was really happy about that. Villager count, oh man, you can just see, like, I just harassed constantly. Look at how the resource difference. He held in there good, though. Shipments, even though Spain has those fast shipments, I managed to catch up to him in the end. Just all those things. That's XP, and then not sure what that is. Anyway, hope you enjoyed this VOD. Hope it was fun. Keep on gaming, and Holly.